Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Luke Monster, and today we're going to be looking at all the Star Wars The Black Series Worst to First Jedi. There are a ton of Jedi in the Black Series. I believe there's about 37 if I did count correctly, but there's only 36 on the list, and I will get into that in just a second. But real quick, if you're not subscribed, make sure to hit that sub button because we are giving away this ARC Trooper Echo. It is sealed and ready to ship once we hit 5K, but you do have to be subbed to the channel to enter, so make sure you are subbed. And on to the number 37 spot, technically. And this isn't technically the 37th spot, but it is an honorable mention, and that is Jedi Knight Revan. And this guy's an honorable mention, one, because he's not technically canon. While he is a Black Series figure and he is a Jedi, he's not technically canon. But number two, I forgot to put him on the list, so he comes in as an honorable mention. Anyway, coming in at the number 36 spot, and the worst Black Series Jedi, I put Jedi Training Ray. And this is a figure that I'm not really a big fan of. I mean, it never really got a proper photo real release, so it does not have the best face print. It does have very just like hard plastic robes. It doesn't look very good. It's very like the limbs are very skinny and it has trouble standing up. Overall, just not very good. While it did get a deluxe release that had a ton of extra accessories. I believe this was ever like the first addition to their photo reel was this Ray figure, but since it was their first photo reel, it didn't come out very well. It wasn't very clean and it looks kind of bad. Wait, coming in at the number 35 spot, I put the 50th anniversary of Lucasfilm Commander Ob1 Kenobi. This is a pretty interesting figure. It is the first ever Obi-Wan Kenobi, or I guess Old Ben, to get photo real. And I mean, I'm just not a big fan of that Kenner colors. I mean, it's just a like really reddish brown all over. I mean, and then like the hair is just super white too. It just doesn't really match what Obi-Wan would have looked like. So I mean, I understand why, because it matches the Kenner colors. I'm just not a big fan of it. Coming at the number 34 spot, this one could be a little controversial, but it is Comic Book Luke. I mean, overall, it's a pretty good figure. It is just a re-release of Dagobah Luke, but painted black instead. And I'm just not a big fan of this Luke's outfit. I mean, it has a black like tank top and black pants, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's just not a super interesting figure, and I don't really know it because I've never really read the comic that it's from. So that's the main reason. If you've read the comic and you love the figure, good for you. I'm just not a huge fan of it. And coming in at the number 33 spot is Force Ghost Yoda. This is actually a surprisingly decent figure. My only problem is I'm just not a big fan of this Yoda mold. It's very undersized, it has poor articulation. I said undersized, it's very oversized. It's much larger than Yoda should actually be. And then the Force Ghost effect on this Yoda is interesting, but not super well executed. I'm a big fan of Force Ghost Yoda. Like, you know, Lego Star Wars Force Ghost Yoda, one of the hardest figures to get. But it's more of the fact that it's just not very well executed in the Black Series. The only reason it got this high on the list is because eventually they're going to release Force Ghost Anakin, and then you can have all three of them, and that's super cool for the Black Series. And then next up is actually Force Ghost Obi-Wan at the number 32 spot. Same kind of along with Force Ghost Yoda, the just Force Ghost effect isn't super well executed. It's not really clean. It looks kind of bad. While I think once you get all three of them together, it'll look really, really good. But unfortunately, we don't have an Anakin yet. And I think this Obi-Wan also suffers from the poor articulation of the original Obi-Wan mold anyway. So coming at the number 31 spot is the Skywalker Strikes Luke. This is an interesting figure. It does not come with the medal, unfortunately, like Yavin Luke, but it does come with a ton of accessories, so this is the only reason this figure got so high. I'm not a big fan of the yellow jacket itself. It's just not a figure that I'm super interested in, but it's the accessories and the world-building aspects that this figure comes with. It comes with like a little crate, it comes with the Jedi texts, it comes with a blast shield, and the training remote, so super cool accessories to go with this guy. Definitely, I'd really highly recommend it if you don't have it, because just the world building aspects alone are worth it. And then coming in at the number 30 spot is Jedi Master Luke from The Last Jedi / Force Awakens, whatever you want to call it. Kind of the same with Jedi Training Ray. This is one of the first figures that did get photo real. It doesn't look super good. It's kind of poor actually. Didn't really come with any accessories either. I think the the best way you could have got this figure is in the deluxe release, and even then there's not a whole lot more that comes with it. I mean, its accessory is another hand, which is like a metal hand, so I mean that's cool that it is diecast, but I think the thing that really sells the deluxe one is the island diorama piece that comes with it. Super cool. Like I said, we don't get a ton of world building aspects in the Black Series, and this is just an excellent addition. Anyway, in the 29th spot, I actually put the Jedi Knight Luke from the original Blue Line 2014, and this is an interesting figure. It has pretty poor articulation for the time because, of course, it was released back in 2014, so the articulation doesn't really stand up to today's standards. So, I mean, that makes sense, of course, because a lot of figures released in that time had poor articulation as well. But I think the biggest problem is this figure hasn't got a re-release since then, so it doesn't have an updated photo reel like a lot of the other original Luke figures. So, until we get another version of this Luke, this one is going to stay pretty low on the list just because it lacks that photo reel. Then coming in at the number 28 spot is Snow Gear Luke, or Hoth Luke, whatever you want to call him. It's a pretty cool figure. I think it's decent articulation for the time it was released, and it finally did get a single release up in, I believe it was 2020 with the archive line. And my biggest problem is the photo reel. Originally it didn't have photo reel, and so then when they re-released it, they updated it with photo reel, but it suffers very, very badly from the shiny face photo reel, and like the eyes look super dark. The face just looks honestly worse than what it originally looked like. And I don't know, I'm just not a big fan of how it looks. I love the outfit for Luke there, but they gotta fix that photo reel. And then at the number 27 spot is actually normal Yoda from Empire Strikes Back. Great figure. I do really like I like Yoda, but it suffers the same thing as I was talking about, like Force Ghost Yoda. It's way too big for the Black Series. It's oversized, and it doesn't really come with a ton of accessories. Even for being an oversized figure, they still charged full price too, so it's very expensive for the amount of plastic you're actually getting. And it pegged warmed because it had several releases. It had normal release, it had the archive release, and the Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary release, all in the span of like a few years, so it just peg warmed really, really hard. I definitely remember back in like 2019, 2020, if I ever found like an archive figure and a 40th anniversary figure, it was always Yoda, and it was just frustrating because I never saw him leave the shelf. Coming in at the number 26 spot is actually Bespin Luke. Really, really good figure, I guess. Like I said, for the time it came out, it has decent articulation, but for me, it's the face. They just cannot get Mark Hamill's face right in this figure. I know a lot of Luke Skywalker figures suffer from this, but one big thing for me is the hair. The hair is off. It's like a brightish yellow color. It doesn't really match the hair color or the hairstyle. It's just a rough figure, and plus, like I said, it's decent articulation for the time, but it's still not as good as it should be. Coming at the number 25 spot, I actually put Padawan Anakin. This is an interesting figure. Most of this is just a re-release of the Revenge of the Sith Anakin, but one difference is they made a brand new mold for the arm that doesn't have the robotic glove, so his hand isn't cut off yet. And the only problem I see with this is they only did one arm with that, so the other arm and the other two legs still have super bad articulation, and then just one arm has good articulation, so it just doesn't really match the rest of the figure. But he does have an amazing Hayden Christensen face, and I do love that, but man, they gotta update that Anakin body. And then coming in at the number 24 spot is the original release of Ben Kenobi. We finally got an updated photo reel version of this guy in the exclusive Cantina Showdown set, so unfortunately it is exclusive if you do want that photo reel, but again, this figure just kind of suffers from poor articulation. Obviously, he is an old man, so you don't really need to get him in super dynamic poses, but I mean, if I want to put Obi-Wan in the splits, I'm going to put Obi-Wan in the splits. And speaking of Obi-Wan, number 23 goes to Archive Obi-Wan. Or not even Archive, I guess just Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan. This is an interesting figure. It is on that original Jedi body, which is very, very poor. Articulation sucks, and his head is just undersized. It looks really, really bad. Fortunately, he did get a archive re-release in 2021, so yeah, that is nice for anybody who did miss out on the original release, but it's just not a super great figure, and I do hope they eventually remake this figure on the newer Jedi body, because that old one just really sucks. And coming in at the number 22 spot is actually Archive Anakin or Revenge of the Sith Anakin. Either one works. This one is kind of like Obi-Wan, but he just has a poor body, poor articulation, doesn't work super well because he was one of the first Black Series figures ever released, so he just suffers from some of that. He did get an archive photo reel update, which is absolutely amazing, and that's the only reason that he comes above Obi-Wan is just because his face just looks so much better than what Obi-Wan's looks like. So And then coming in at the number 21 spot is Island Ray. This is a figure that is very cheap on the aftermarket. She pegworms very hard, and she did back in the day too. And it's because it's Ray. People don't like Ray, but this is actually a decent figure. I think this is her best outfit from all three of the movies. It just looks better than the weird, like, cross robe looking thing. I don't know what to call it, but I'm just not a huge fan of that outfit. This one is the best one, and then this is the first Ray to have, I guess, the real photo-real application, and it looks really good. I think they nailed Daisy Ridley, so... And then coming in at the number 20 spot is Clone Commander Ob1. This was a Walgreens exclusive, and it was decently hard to get back in the day since it was a Walgreens exclusive. But this is based off the Tartakovsky Clone Wars, which is super, super cool. Only problem is it is on that old Clone Trooper body, which means articulation sucks. That's the only reason it's so low. Other than that, it's a super great figure, and I would have put it higher, but you know me and that old Clone Trooper body. I absolutely hate it. Coming in at the number 19 spot is actually Endor Luke. This is a figure that released in 2019 in the Galaxy packaging. Not 2019, I'm sorry. It would have been 2020 in the Galaxy packaging. And the coolest thing about this guy is he does have the Endor gear. He has the Endor helmet and the Endor, like, poncho. Super cool. Only problem is underneath that poncho is that original Jedi Knight Luke body, which has the poor articulation. So I was hoping they would have updated that articulation, but they didn't, and it does kind of suck. And I also think that, again, with the Mark Hamill face, his face is just a little off. And then coming in at the number 18 spot is Jedi Knight Luke, which was a Walmart exclusive. This is the Jabba's Palace version, so this one's super cool. He does come with, of course, his lightsaber, but he also comes with a blaster and a robe. So I absolutely love the Jabba's Palace scene, and this is the Luke from that scene. Like I said, he does mainly reuse the original Jedi Knight Luke body with like a vest kind of robe thing thrown over it. But with the amount of accessories he comes with is super cool. I love the soft goods robe. And plus, I think this is the best face that we've gotten for Luke so far in the Black Series, excluding one that's a little bit higher on the list, but that one has something weird about it, and I will get to that once we get to that on the list, but by far one of the better Lukes that we've gotten in the Black Series. Coming in the number 17 spot is actually Ezra. This is a figure I have mixed emotions about. I'm not a huge Season 1 and 2 Ezra fan. I love the show, but I'm just not a big fan of his outfit. I much prefer the Season 3 and 4 outfit. But for me, it's just the realistic adaptation of his face. It doesn't really scream Ezra to me. I mean, obviously, it's supposed to look like a real person rather than the animated character, but if you look at his face compared to like a realistic Ahsoka's face looks so much better compared to Ezra's, so I'm just not a big fan of how the realistic adaptation turned out. And coming in the number 16 spot is the exact same reason. It's Kanan as well. Like I said, great figure, great accessories, it's just that realistic face didn't really come out how I liked it. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad that they decided to release him, but I would have preferred a more animated, stylized face. Number 15 is actually Rebels Ahsoka. Now, this is a face that I think they nailed. It did get that photoreal update in 2020, kind of like with the rest of the Rebels characters, so that was a huge upgrade to the figure. But my biggest problem is I'm not a huge fan of this outfit. I love Rebels, and I love Rebels Ahsoka, but her outfit is just not my favorite. I think she has much better outfits in any other form of media. But I think another problem is her legs. She has a hard time standing up, which is very unfortunate too. And coming in at the number 14 spot is Clone Wars Ahsoka. Only problem with this figure is it's super inaccurate. They decided to use a ton of reuse with this figure instead of actually going all out making it accurate. I think from like the waist up, it's a super, super good figure. Super accurate, looks amazing. Photoreal like Ahsoka face just is absolutely incredible. One of my favorite figures. But from like the waist down, they reuse those Rebel Ahsoka legs and has problems standing up. It's not accurate. It's just looks super bad compared to what it actually looked like in the show. Overall, I wanted to put this higher, but just how inaccurate it was and the problems with standing up, I just couldn't. Coming in at the number 13 spot is actually Dagobah Luke, and this one surprised me when making this list. Great figure. It's a brand new figure with 2020. They released it for the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back. And the thing I love about this, since it was a deluxe figure, they threw in all of the extra accessories. They threw in like an extra like handstand, force hand. They threw in the proper scale Yoda, which is absolutely amazing. So this is the first Yoda that we have that is in proper Black Series scale, and it works so well. He even has the little backpack Luke has. Super underrated figure, and I'm sure you can get it for pretty cheap on the aftermarket if you do want to get him. Coming into the number 12 spot is actually Obi-Wan Kenobi Padawan. This figure was one of the first figures on the new Jedi body, and it's a really great body. I absolutely love this Jedi body. It's one that they need to continue throughout the rest of the Black Series because it's absolutely insane. Only problem, I would have put this guy higher, but his face just isn't really Ewan McGregor. It's just a little off in my opinion. I love the photoreal on it, but it just doesn't really scream Ewan McGregor like some of the other Obi-Wan's faces do. Coming in the number 11 spot is actually Qui-Gon, another figure with great articulation and a great body. My biggest problem is they had two releases of this guy. One did not have photoreal, and the second one did have photoreal. And I absolutely love the photoreal update. It's one of the best photoreal faces we've gotten in the Black Series to date. The problem is they didn't include all of the accessories in that re-release because in the original he had an extra force hand, and they didn't include that in the re-release, so you really have to pick and choose. Do you want photoreal or do you want an extra hand? And that's just my main problem, is you shouldn't have to pick and choose. They should have included all of the extra accessories with it. Coming in the number 10 spot will surprise a lot of you guys, but it's actually Rey and Dio from Rise of Skywalker. I know a lot of people are going to be mad that Rey made the top 10, but this is a surprisingly good figure. Great articulation, really cool outfit. It has like a little backpack and a cool looking hood, amazing photoreal Daisy Ridley face, and it also comes with a ton of accessories. It comes with Rey's lightsaber, brand new mold for Rise of Skywalker, also comes with her staff, it comes with Dio the droid, and it comes with their blaster. So a ton of accessories with this guy. I would not be surprised if nowadays Hasbro would consider that a deluxe figure with all the accessories it comes with. But surprisingly good figure, super underrated. Coming into the number 9 spot is actually Cal Kestis. This is the original release of Cal, and I really like this figure. One of my first Black Series figures I ever got. I'm a huge Fallen Order fan, and this is just great. The photoreal is a perfect likeness to what it looked like in the game. The hair is super cool, lightsaber is a great mold, and overall I'm just a huge fan of this figure. And then coming in at the number 8 spot is actually Deluxe Cow. Very similar to normal Cow, but it does have the extra like hard plastic poncho, extra accessories with like a double lightsaber, holocron. It's super cool. I really like what they did with this Deluxe Cow, and I wish they would do more stuff like that with maybe, even if it's just a re-release to Deluxe Cow, but with like different colors. I would be all for that. I absolutely love what they did with that, and hopefully we do get Fallen Order 2 sometime in the future. Coming into the number 7 spot is actually Mace Windu. This is one of the best Jedi molds in the entire Black Series. I think the likeness to Samuel L. Jackson in the face is absolutely incredible. It has an amazing hilt that is perfect to Mace Windu's lightsaber, and it comes with the Jedi robes too, which most Jedis don't come with. So super happy with this figure, one of the best in the Black Series. Coming in at the number 6 spot is actually Snowspeeder Luke from 2020. This is one of the first figures in the Galaxy packaging, and it surprised me. Has brand new butterfly joints for the mold. It has like a thicker jacket compared to what the original X-Wing pilot Luke looked like, and really this figure is incredible. He can have a ton of poses with his lightsaber that you just couldn't get with some of the older figures, and by far this is the best Mark Hamill face. It nails it. It's almost perfect compared to all the other ones. The other ones are just terrible compared to this one. The only problem is he doesn't have any hair because he has like the little like snow cap thing, and I really wish that this head had hair just because the face is so good. Now we're breaking into the top 5. Number 5, I gave it to Kit Fisto. This is another really great figure. It is on that new Jedi body, which is absolutely amazing. I love that Jedi body. And he has that amazing alien Kit Fisto head. It came out super cool. I absolutely love it. I know Hasbro always knocks it out of the park with the alien heads. My biggest problem is he has an inaccurate lightsaber. It's not Kit Fisto's lightsaber. They just gave him a random one and hoped fans wouldn't notice, and it really shows. It's just not the right lightsaber, and I don't understand why they couldn't have got that right. Like, they literally have the molds already in the Black Series. One of the lightsabers that came with General Grievous is that lightsaber, but they just didn't give it to him. I don't know why, but they didn't. And number 4 is actually Plo Kun. Great figure as well. My biggest problem with this, again, it has the wrong lightsaber hilt. I don't know what they were thinking with this. One big pro about this figure that actually bumps it up above Kit Fisto is the fact that it comes with a Jedi robe. I don't understand why they don't give a Jedi robe to every single Jedi in the Black Series. It's just a no-brainer. It should be an accessory that comes with every single one, and they don't do it. I don't know why. So he definitely gets a plus for getting that Jedi robe because it's absolutely amazing. Coming into the number 3 spot, I actually picked Episode 2 Obi-Wan. This is by far one of the best Obi-Wan molds we've ever gotten. Like I said, that new Jedi mold is incredible. It does have that episode 2 Obi-Wan hilt as well, which looks super, super amazing. And plus, that mullet Obi-Wan episode 2 face is absolutely incredible. The likeness to Ewan McGregor is incredible, and one of the best faces we've gotten in the Black Series in a long time. Coming into the number 2 spot, I actually picked Clone Wars Anakin. Another great figure, by far the best Anakin Skywalker we've gotten in the Black Series. Unfortunately, the legs are still that poor articulation for legs, but they totally revamped the arms. The Clone Wars armor is absolutely amazing. His face is amazing as well. They kind of took the liberty of giving Hayden Christensen the shorter hair, because of Clone Wars he did have shorter hair, and I think that came out beautifully. I know some people were complaining because the face looks a little off, but I think it looks absolutely perfect. And one of my favorite figures in all the Black Series. It is absolutely amazing. I love how that. And then coming into the number 1 spot as the best Black Series Jedi, I gotta give it to Clone Wars Obi-Wan. This guy is absolutely incredible. From the armor to the Ewan McGregor face, it really all just came out beautifully, and by far one of my favorite figures in all of the Black Series. It even has that exclusive 50th anniversary Lucasfilm packaging, which is like the throwback to the Clone Wars packaging, which is amazing. So he does come in the number 1 spot. If you did enjoy, that like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Comment down below if you disagree with the list, and I'll see you guys in the next video.